Hello and welcome to Woo Wednesdays. I'm your hostess with the mostest, MoJo Medium, also known as Susan Morrow Johnson. And I am leading the next generation of spiritual leaders to help raise up humanity and to shift into the new paradigm. I am absolutely delighted to be here. And I'm glad you're here today too. So thanks for being here. Hi, Melanie. Welcome. I am going to open, as I usually do, with a good news only card. And this is really interesting because uh, I just got an email from a friend. Um, and hold on, I'm having a little trouble here with the video. Let's try that. See if that's okay, doesn't matter. All right, so she sent an email, and I just sat down and saw her email that said something about good news. And I just was like, this is a very cool thing. So I knew that I was doing the right thing to bring you a good news only fortune telling card today. All right, see that makes a difference, doesn't it? That's very weird. Okay, I'm clearly having camera problems. I will brighten it up just a little bit for you. Okay, hold on a second. It just went live on YouTube as well. Give me a sec. There we go. All right. Now, the thing about going live on YouTube is that I don't have it set up on my main channel. So we're live on my sort of personal private channel, whatever. Back to the good news only fortune telling cards. I was inspired to create these cards years ago when a lot of people found out I was a psychic medium, and they would go, oh, what bad thing do I need to watch out for? What thing do I need to be worried about? What's going to happen to me? What horrible thing will befall me? So I started to create this deck in response to help people to look for the good instead of the bad, because you find what you look for, and that's just your brain's way of keeping you safe. So if you want to find good stuff, you have to consciously look for it, and eventually your subconscious does catch up. All right, that's why we meditate, right? I'm going to pull a card, and each card has a word or phrase that is only interpretable as good news. And this is for you whenever you might see this. Doesn't matter, past, present, future. Um, and it is good for the next few days to a week. Give you something to look forward to. Strengthen that look for the good muscle, okay? Here's the card. Oh, upside down doesn't matter, by the way, with these cards. Awards and honors. Oh, okay, this, I would not interpret this as an actual award. It's um, more like you receive accolades or kudos. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a formal thing. It's not like your employee of the month necessarily. It's more like people saying, you made a difference in my life, or this person really helped ABC, in doing things. So it's more like that. But the good thing about it is, the good news about it is that it is for you to put aside your humility for a minute and just bask in that praise. Okay. Enjoy that and know that you're worthy of receiving it. Very, very important. All right. So at the end of today, I'm going to throw some other angel cards, but that's the way I like to start, is with good news, awards and honors. Pardon me while I write this down. Okay. Today, I'm in I don't know, weird headspace. There's just so much going on, and it is affecting all of us, not the least of which is me. People who are sensitive and intuitive have to work at it. I mean, we have to work at overcoming bad news and dealing with the stress of situations. I actually have always thought I'm really good at that, even though I am sensitive and intuitive. I've always felt like I'm good at guarding my feelings and so forth. Today, I'm a little off. So I'm not sure what is needed today. A lot of times I come to Woo Wednesdays and just wait for the powers that be to give me the topic. Today I don't have it. So I'm going to ask Melanie if you have anything that you would like to talk about or ask about.
Don't have anything to really ask per se. Um, hmm.
Well, what's on your mind? Anything?
I'm invited to deepen my relationship with my beloved, but I don't really know if I want to. But it's
Oh, now wait a minute. What does deepen mean? Does that mean moving in, getting married? What?
we are together. Anybody who's watching this, the replay, we are together until life do us part. So I do not desire to get married. It's just not me. I'm not mature enough
Okay.
for it, to be honest. If we're not going to get married, what's the level of deepening the relationship? Um,
Yeah.
I don't really want to, because this person is a lot older than
Uh,
me.
uh,
So he already had a life and a family before me. Do I want to be kind of
hmm.
dragged along in someone else's life with their children and their grandkids? And I'm 30,
Interesting.
you know. Um,
Yeah.
I think the I think the thing that's in the air is I just seems that since 2020, people are kind of reimagining their relationship to marriage or institutions. What does it mean to
Mhm.
be in a committed relationship? Um, and what is my background? How did I grow up? What was the culture that I grew up in? What was that relationship to marriage? And what does it mean to be married? So those are things that are just on my
This is
mind.
what's going in your mind. I think this is a great topic. So thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
Um, and we can talk about you specifically, but I want to talk about the broader concept
Mhm.
that you've brought up about how since 2020, especially, I agree that I see that a lot, that people are kind of reconsidering what they want. And there's also, in the same way that if an alcoholic quits drinking, gets sober and gets healthier, the the spouse or partner will often, I mean, it can be lethal for a relationship or a marriage. And in that same way, if one person in the marriage becomes awakened and starts to explore other concepts, it can be difficult for the other person to get on board if they're not ready. And so I think that a lot of that has been going on, like you said, since 2020, but also the last 25 years. And what I thought of when you said that was the rise of interest in polyamory, which is where there's more than two people in a serious relationship. And, I don't think that's just about sex either. I think it's really about a community of friendship, and I am not I am not the least inclined that way. I just don't think I could handle it. But some people are built more that way. And it's like you were saying that, do you want to be in somebody else's life that's not yours? Or, maybe you want to keep being you and maintain your identity as you are as an individual. When I mean, I've always been married. I've been married dozens of times, and always a bride, never a bridesmaid, that kind of thing. Um, and so I think of myself as being a married kind of person. And I have had a few years here and there of being single, which I enjoyed tremendously. And, did not recognize really until this marriage that I'm in. We've been together 11 years, and we've been married for 8.5. And so I didn't realize how much I do lose myself in relationships until therapy during this particular marriage. Um, and how much I will bury myself and, not ask for what I need and not even expect my needs to be met and so forth. And so I've come a long way on that, fortunately. But it made those years as being single really nice for me. I really enjoyed being single because, like you're talking about, I was completely me and I could do what I wanted and didn't have to consider anybody else. I mean, I'm a mom, and so my kids are well grown, but I'm used to being, taking care of them, considering them, and so forth. But when I was single and they were grown, it was like, this is freedom, baby. It was really nice. So, anyway, back to the concept of reimagining, excuse me, intimate relationships and how we want to do those things. I agree with you that that's just sort of in the energy of the moment. And it also it speaks to what I'm always talking about. My thing is the divine feminine. And I think the divine feminine is about inclusiveness and community. And so that makes sense as we are um, struggling to shift into this new paradigm where the divine feminine is in active labor. It hurts. I think that's a good way to describe it, really. But as we're doing that, I think that a lot of institutions fall away, a lot of new concepts that are more inclusive come to into play as well. And of course, then we have the pushback and the ones who don't want to because they're like, no, it's too scary. It's a change. It's different, but it's so nice. Look how lovely this is. We all love everybody, take care of everybody. And we want you to come and join us. No, I can't. It's not what I'm used to. So I think that's kind of where we are philosophically and energetically. And that, so I'm glad you brought that up. Jessica, you kind of came in a little bit. I'm sorry, do you prefer Jess?
Jess or Jessica is fine.
Okay, great. I'm the same way, Susan or Susie, but not Sue. I'm just
And
picky.
I'm not Jessie.
No,
So
see,
I get
okay.
it.
So you understand. Yes, I get it
Yep.
too. So did you come in early enough to get what we're talking about?
It sounded like you were talking about relationships and how um, being in touch with the more woo-woo side can affect it. And I know you talked a little bit about the polyamory, and if you want to talk polyamory and how it can be good and bad. I have a kid who's in polyamory and I can share
Oh,
experiences.
please share. Yeah, I'd love to know
So
more about it. My daughter she's interested in it, knowledgeable about it, but she doesn't know if she'll ever do that. But please enlighten us.
yeah. Okay. So my middle child is gender fluid.
Mhm.
They say they're trans female to male, except they also say they have multiple personality disorder, and it depends on which personality is taking the lead, which gender they are.
Okay.
So when their core personality shows up, they have a female body that they don't like and they want to be male. But it's weird, and they're really good about letting us not stress about the pronouns, which
Okay,
is
good.
nice.
That is nice. That's good.
So they got married before they came out to us,
Okay.
to their high school sweetheart.
A boy,
And yes,
presumably. Yeah. Okay.
male. But when I met him, I swear the kid was gay.
Right. Okay. And you got good gaydar like I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he would put on my other daughter's clothing, like her prom dresses, and he wore high heels and he had his nails done. I mean,
Sounds like a match made in heaven, actually.
he's not straight. Okay, so now he claims he is intersex, claims he has ovaries. Now,
Okay,
the kid is also a
can't
liar.
ask him to prove that.
Yeah. He's like, when I first met him, he told me he was a vampire and he was like 300
Oh,
years old. And
yeah.
so, I take everything the kid says with a grain of salt. But he went off to the military, and while he was there, was severely wounded.
Oh.
And he says it was a fall, but I kind of think it was a suicide attempt.
Oh.
And he came back with a lot of nerve damage, and he came back with no benefits from the military.
Oh no.
Because he had not completed boot camp. So because he came back with this severe nerve damage, he does not like to be touched.
Oh.
And my child needs touch. And so they talked about it, and they decided that they wanted to bring in another person into their marriage.
And see, that's a really practical kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
okay, go ahead. Please continue.
So they brought in another person, and this person is male to female trans.
Okay.
So all three of them are not sure about their bodies. So, but they live together, the three of them. Sometimes they get along great, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes the male gets jealous of the other two sharing physical intimacy,
Sure.
which is understandable. But you know, when you can't because you hurt,
Yeah.
So
Gosh, that's so interesting. I think that what a great solution they came up with for them in this situation where your child needs physical touch and their spouse can't bear it. And
Yeah.
so instead of splitting up, they found a solution to stay together. And so, you know, 50 years ago, they wouldn't have thought of that. They would either
No.
split up or they would just stay together and suffer their
Loveless
individual things.
marriage. They're
Yeah,
sexless marriage.
sexless marriage, and maybe your child would go off and have an affair or something. But now
Right.
it's like there's an option. And I'm not saying that polyamory was never around until the 21st century. That's not true. I
It's
know
just
that.
now more acceptable.
It's more, people are more aware of it in
Yeah.
general. Yeah.
Yeah. People are more aware of it. Not everybody
Yeah.
accepts it. I mean, hello, look at what Trump's doing to our whole community.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. So I have
But
a queer child as well. She's not, she is definitely, she was assigned female at birth and she's definitely femme, but she usually describes herself as pansexual. And,
yeah.
people don't understand that completely. So she'll go, oh, I'm bisexual. It's not a big deal. So to me, that's no big deal at all, but she's very much in the community of LGBTQ. And I'm very much an ally and always have been. And you were talking
Mhm.
about meeting this young boy in high school and going, oh, that boy's gay. My older daughter is a big hag like I am. And, I had several heartbreaks before I finally developed that gaydar that I mentioned, as a lot of us do. And so she had one of her best friends, my daughter's best friend from 6th grade on, was a boy. And I would say, yeah, he's going to grow up to be gay. And my daughter would be like, no, he's not, mother. And he had staunchly declared that he was straight, and she had staunchly defended him to other people, and sure enough, he came out in college. And it's like, she
Mhm.
and then one of her girlfriends was gay too. And I'd say, yeah, she's gay. Mom, she likes Victoria's Secret. Lesbians don't like Victoria's Secret. I was like, what's not to like for a lesbian? Why not?
If a girl likes girls, Victoria's Secret's hot.
And so
Yep.
sure enough, she was a lesbian. And then she fell in love with a man and got married and had a baby. So,
You never know what
just
people are going to do.
love is love. And I think that's what matters. That's really
Yeah.
what matters. And that also speaks back to the divine feminine, that love
Mhm.
is love and everyone is welcome. And if you just love each other, then everything will be better.
Yep.
There's so much hate circling around
Oh,
right now. And it's just like, and I don't, philosophically and sort of intuitively, I agree with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, hate cannot stamp out hate. Hate cannot banish hate, whatever. Only love can do that.
mhm.
And so I really, it's hard, but I want to just like extend a lot of love to everybody and to the world and
I
just let it
know.
wash over them,
I know. I know.
and
If we send all this love to these idiots, we could fix the world.
I
If
love you,
everybody was just love.
idiots. I love you, idiots. You're so idiotic, but I love you. Yeah, and I actually did a TikTok a couple weeks ago where I went, okay, I'm fixing to shock you. I love, and I won't say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. His initials are DT. And people were like, man, in the comments, man, I'm glad I watched past the first sentence, because I was like, this is what we need to do is recognize, have sympathy for this person who has never felt love. He has never felt loved. and he has never
Mm.
felt love for someone else because he hasn't experienced it himself. And sure, we can blame his parents, we can blame
But we don't need
his,
to blame.
exactly,
We don't
exactly.
need to
We just
blame.
need
We just need to
acceptance is
accept them
important.
for who they are
And
and
accept and feel the love,
and
feel the love.
right, feel the
Yeah.
love and show them the love that we want back.
Yes, yes, that's beautiful. I love that because when you love others, you're loving yourself. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a
It's
good
just
one.
kind of funny. I've got my Facebook open on my computer over here, and it just popped up. Hugs heal.
Hugs heal. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, excuse me. Speaking of, one of my other, I want to call it a platitude, part of my platform, I guess, as in the work that I do, is that you turn your suffering into your like superpower, turn your pain into your purpose, use your talents, and in your talents are your truth. And so, I have a lot of different ways of saying that. So essentially, your talents plus your experience equal your purpose. So the talents you were born with and the experience you've had in your life, whatever that may entail, good, bad, and the ugly, put those together and that's your purpose for right now. And as your experience changes and shifts, then your purpose changes and shifts as well. And you have control over all of it. You can choose. But having that formula, I think, is just so powerful because so many of us are like, well, what is my purpose? And I'm like, well, okay. What, what are you good at? And what's your experience been? What are you passionate about? And I think that helps to answer the question of why do we suffer? And it's
Mhm.
like, well, because if you don't use your pain to help someone else with theirs, then what good is it? And there's got to be some good in it. There's got to be a reason for it, right? So we use our pain and our struggles to help others. And, many, many years ago, I remember, I don't know if it was listening to somebody or reading something or going to a class, but it was something about your greatest failure will be your greatest success or something like that. And I thought about the time, like the heartbreaks with the gay boys when I was growing up. Take something like that could be very painful. And what can come out of that? What would I be inspired to help somebody with? Right. And,
Mhm.
I usually will give extreme examples like John Walsh, who started to catch a predator. His son was captured and murdered and kidnapped and murdered. And so he devoted the rest of his life to helping save other children from the same fate and save families from that fate. And it's like, I was a guest on a podcast talking about this as an example of what can inspire people to help others. And he said, well, couldn't there have been some other way that he could have been inspired to do that wouldn't cost him his son? And I was like, sure, there are, but for him, that was what did it.
Mhm.
I mean, it is what it is. And if your soul came into this life saying, I'm going to help this specific kind of person, then you've got to have some experience in it in order to enable that purpose. Hope that makes sense.
Mhm. It totally makes sense. I don't want to work with a coach who claims they can make $100,000 a year when they've never done it.
Right, right, right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And I think there are a lot fewer six-figure coaches out there than they would have you believe. And I
Mhm.
understand fake it till you make it. And I understand, faith in that being, and I know manifestation better than anybody. But I
But
also
don't,
believe in honesty.
yeah, I believe in integrity. Don't go marketing yourself as something that you have never done.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Jess, what do you do?
I am a Reiki master and an intuitive life coach.
Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, yeah. You and I are going to talk. Right? Are you coming to the master class tomorrow?
I can't because I have a
That's right.
client at that time. Yep.
That's right.
Yep. I wanted to come, but
I will send you the replay. Okay.
excellent.
And then
Excellent.
do you and I have an appointment coming up? We're going to have a one-on-one talk.
We have not scheduled a one-on-one yet.
Okay, we need to do that. Melanie, are
Okay.
you and I having a one-on-one or did we already?
I don't think we've scheduled one.
Okay, well, both of you, I want to talk to both of you in the next few days. So I will get in touch with you and do that. Jess, did you send me an email? Did I see an email from you
I
today?
replied to an email, I believe.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you
Okay,
should
so
have
I've
my
got your
email.
email addresses and I can get in touch with y'all.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get out my other angel cards. I think that we've dived deep, but not very long. So it's like a short amount of time and but deep, and I like that. I like that because I used to do Woo Wednesdays for an hour, and it's gotten to where I'm like, that's more time than most people want, and it's more time than I want. I mean, I do want to have my own talk show, and it should be an hour. But I mean, this is my talk show. This is for now. But also in all of my readings and all of, especially in coaching, my sessions are so intense. It's just, they're so deep and there's so much information to process. I mean, if in a half an hour reading, it's not as intense, but in an hour long reading or an hour long coaching session,
It's intense.
I don't do hour and a half coaching anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And neither the client nor I can stand it. It's so much. And
It's
so
too much.
when I start out one-on-one coaching somebody, I'll say, okay, I have a program and it's 8 sessions. And I'll go, we can schedule for every week or every 2 weeks. It's your choice. And so we'll schedule the first session. And by the second session, they usually are like, can I have another week? I need a little more time because it's just like we cover a lot and it's deep and it's big. Okay, let's do a nice, easy angel card reading. Okay, so we're going to do what I call 3x3 using my magical mermaids and dolphins from Doreen Virtue, PhD. They're lovely and talented. So the 3x3 is just 3 deep breaths, shuffle the deck 3 times, pull 3 cards. I'll walk you through it. Okay. So during the 3 deep breaths, and I like to do my hands this way, so I'm crossing the midline. I cross my ankles also. You can do whatever's comfortable for you. Close your eyes and 3 deep breaths. Do not hold your breath, but do go all the way up and all the way down as well as you can. And during those 3 breaths, I want you to consider and concentrate on this idea. I call on my angels and guides, as well as all those who have my best interests at heart. One more time. I call on my angels and guides, as well as all those who have my best interests at heart. All right. That's easy. This is also known as the micro meditation, and it's great for pushing the reset button. Okay, let's go. Okay. Now then, I'm going to shuffle the deck 3 times, and I want you to consider, think about, concentrate on your greatest question or worry right now, your biggest concern. If you have too many and they are all big and you can't choose just one, or if you just can't think of anything right now, use the default question, what do I need to know right now? And you can add on to that, what do I need to know right now about XYZ? Okay, so 3 shuffles, and we will imbue the deck with your questions. All right. Now then, I'm going to cut the deck and deal out 3 cards. I want you to choose 1, 2, or 3. Don't think too much about it. Just give me 1, 2, or 3. I like to play 2. All right. Now you've got your number. Cutting the deck and deal out the 3 cards face down. Now then, that card will be, quote, your card. However, anytime you are witness to somebody else's reading, no matter what kind of reading it is, where you are, if it's live or not, if that message resonates with you, it is for you, okay? Because that's the wonderful way that the universal consciousness works. It's fantastic. Okay, if you chose card number 1, this is your card. Ooh, a new dawn. The worst is now behind you and positive new experiences are on the horizon. Hallelujah. I do get a very global feeling about this. I do get a very global feeling. And I'm not sure if it's going to be it does kind of feel like a very quick flip. Now, I make a policy of not predicting politics because I have a desired outcome of my own. And so it's kind of like asking, asking your tarot deck, should I buy a lottery ticket today? And what do you think you're going to get? Right. But this does feel like a switch, a light goes on. Something changes pretty quickly and pretty soon. This will be in the next few days to a week. So a new dawn. And I usually will apply this to an individual client, but this does feel kind of global. And so here we are. All of us have that desire. Maybe we made that happen and we can make it happen. So, all right. Here's card number 2, soulmate relationship, new romance with a spiritual basis is here for you now. Interesting that this whole thing was about romance and intimate relationships. Okay. And I don't know, Jess, if you were here, but Melanie and I were talking about how if one person goes through spiritual awakening, the other person, and if the other person isn't ready, it can really cause a problem for a marriage. And it happens, people split up over that. Okay. In this case, I feel like it says new romance with a spiritual basis. I'm going to take that fairly literally this time because it feels like your existing romantic relationship, whatever that might be, deepens because of spirituality. And so if you have, very specifically, if you have felt like you were far ahead or different from your partner, start talking about it. And it's going to grow and be good. So don't let that gap grow. Bring it together. Okay. If you don't have a partner, which could be the case, it seems like it feels like someone who's already very spiritual and kind of in the same place you are. And I think there might be an occasion to get together. So that's what that is. Very cool. If you chose card number 3, this is your card. Playtime. The dolphins know the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestation. Okay, I always think that's a corny card. I should probably take it out of the deck. And sometimes
I
this is
love
very much
playtime.
about. Oh, good. I will leave it in the deck then because you like it.
Look
Good.
at this. Can you
Oh,
not
well,
see
that's
what-
true. Yes, and actually, I'm like you are too. I love, yeah. If you could see my real office, it is a nice sunny yellow, it's not beige, and these colors are very bright. And I've just got a room full of pink and turquoise and aqua and shimmer
Nice.
lights and just a million things. Yeah, and I'm very much like that too. I like color and pretty stuff and fun. But this card, a lot of times this card comes up when it really is about literally getting outside, swinging on the swings, different things like that. That's really about playing. In this case, and this goes kind of along with our topic today, it's about, oh God, this is good. It's really about playing with your beliefs and playing with your concepts and your preconceived notions. And so take a belief, like that you just kind of take for granted and open that up and you can journal on it or just think about it, meditate and go, where did I get this belief and do I want to keep it? Okay. And that can be anything. It could be about you, it could be about relationships, it could be about God, universe, higher self. It could be about any belief you have. So that is going to be awesome. I don't know if people would see this in time to join the masterclass tomorrow, so I'm going to leave that aside, but I do want to recommend and invite you to contact me about joining the Courageous, Outrageous Society of Mothers. It is mothers who will change the world. And so as the Divine Feminine is now in active labor, we are all going to midwife this baby right on into being. And we're going to enter that new paradigm of greater community and connection, and peace and love. So, all right. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you in the replay as well. And I'll see you soon.